Hello everyone, you all are welcome back to the channel. To my old subscribers, thank you for sticking here, and to my new ones, you are welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this dress with a detachable yoke. So stay true to the end and watch how I made this if this is what interests you, and remember to click on the subscribe button if you've not subscribed. So let's get started. For the material, I'm making use of doffed satin and an Ankara material. The Ankara I'll be just using 2 yards, and for the doffed I'll be using half yard to 1 yard if you are making a full sleeve. So I folded my fabric into 4, and all the measurements I use on the screen. The half length is 10 inches plus my joining allowance of half an inch, and my starting line I came down by half an inch before drawing it. So the chest circumference and the waist circumference I've inputted it. I have a detailed video how to draft a basic bodice, so I'll work with this one that I've drafted on the fabric. My neckline is 2.25, that is 2¼ inches. Then my neck depth for the front is 2½ inches, and for the back is 1 inch. Yeah, I'm actually going to take away the off shoulder of this dress, but I'll draft it as a pattern first. Then I'll trace out my yoke, which is the jacket's kind of. Then for this, I'll get the midpoint of the armhole and come in by half an inch, and I'll connect the 3 points together. After drafting this pattern is not actually needed like this, but when I cut off my jacket part, when I trace my jacket part, I can now cut it out. So I will connect the back armhole. The first one that I connected was for the front armhole. I went in deeper by half an inch. So the remaining thing is just to add my half an inch for the joining allowance at the upper part. And the pattern is ready. I'll cut it like we'd normally cut our pattern, cutting through the back markings first before I will now remove the front pattern from the back and then trace off the front neckline and the front armhole. So I'll go ahead to trace off the neckline of 2.5 inches and the armhole of 0.5 inch that I came in with. So this is the pattern. I'll use this to trace out the yoke, that is the one that looks like a jacket. I have a fabric that I'll put in under. Once I put it under, I'll trace the neckline and the armhole. The fabric should be about 1.5 inches to 2 inches longer than the chest line. So, and the front is on fold. I have about 7.5 inches here. Then when I place my front pattern and the back pattern, it will be longer by 1.5 inches from the side seam, that's the chest line. It will be longer than the chest line by 1.5 inches. Here I have 1 inch. When I'm cutting on my fabric, I would add to it to make up 1.5 inches. So I'll just pin this up and trace it out, the neckline and the armhole. So this black pattern is just something I'll be using to illustrate because I'm working with a white fabric. I don't want to stain the fabric. So this is what I will do to the back as well. I'll just pin it up, trace the neckline, cut out the neckline and cut out the armhole. Then I can now separate it. The need for the upper part of this dress has finished. This is what I'll be using to cut out my jacket. So I'll just mark the chest line. I'll just indicate the chest line on both the front pattern and on the back pattern because I'll be working with it. So I'll keep this aside and I'll open up the zipper. This is for the back parts. I'll open it up, then I'll keep it aside and continue with the main bodice. So for the main bodice, I will cut it as an off shoulder and replace the off shoulder with a strap. My off shoulder, I just want to cut out -3 inches, or from the chest line, I'll just go up by 2 inches to cover up a bit. I don't want it too low. This is for a 4-year-old, 4 to 5-year-old, this works. So I am going up by 2 inches from the chest line, then I will rule it into a straight line. I'll repeat the same thing for the back. From the chest line, go up 2 inches so that your chest line will be covered. If you want it a bit low, you can go up by 1.5 inches, but I don't want it to be too exposed. From my shoulder point is 3.5 inches for the front and for the back pattern. So as you can see, there was no need to drafting the whole pattern on the fabric, except that I wanted to use it to cut the jacket part. If you are using a pattern already, like a pattern drafted on the paper, you don't need to go through all this. So for the neck width for the off shoulder, I want 2.25 inches or 2.5 inches plus my 1 inch for my strap. Then the remaining one will be 1/2 inch for my turning allowance. So I have 4.5 inches. I will mark exactly the same thing on the back neckline so that they will be equal. I'll trim off that 1/2 inch at the back. You see, this 1/2 inch is that 1/2 inch we did not trim off at the back while cutting the armhole that I came in with. So 4.5 inches as the whole neck width for the back. That is plus the strap allowance and the turning allowance inclusive, and the same thing for the front as well. I'll just cut it off like this as an off shoulder, and I will replace this particular length that I cut off now with a strap. So I'll just notch my zipper allowance and open up my zipper allowance. And this is what I have for the back, for the lining, and for the main fabric, which is the Ankara material. And for the front, which is on fold, this is what I have as well. The off shoulder depth was -3 inches. So I'll now work on the yoke, detachable yoke. So remember, for the back part, we have our 1 inch zipper allowance. If you want to use a zipper, you can just use this to cut out your fabric exactly. But I want to use a rope, so I'll have no need for that zipper allowance. I'll just draw a design at the back. I'll just give it a good curve, whatever design you want. You can just take that thing straight down. The marking that I just made, instead of having it as a curve, you can just mark it as a straight line, and I'll cut that off. But if you're adding a zipper, please just use this and cut it exactly on your fabric. Just add your joining allowance at the down part and at the armhole. So this is what mine will look like. I will attach rope at the upper shoulder part and at that down part. Then for the front, remember I indicated my chest line. Look at my chest line. That mark is my chest line. So I'll just connect it to that side seam. So if you want it to be a bit exposed, you go up by 1/2 inch or 1 inch from the chest line. So this is what I want. So I'll just curve it, connect it to the side seam. That's the 1.5 inches below the chest line, and I'll connect it, and it will look curvy like this. So I don't want this. I want this to have a bit of coverage when the child is wearing it. This is how it will look like on the fabric. As you can see, the chest line is not exposed. So for the back, as you can notice, I did not curve the down part of the back because there's no need. The design is only at the front side, and for the back, this is how it will look like when I join it. And I will not be joining it to this fabric. I will be having it separate as a yoke, or should I say as a jacket. So this pattern is ready, and I'll use this to cut on my doll face satin. For the skirt part, I have this Ankara material 2 yards. I've already cut out the one I'll be using, but I just want to demonstrate. Ankara is by 45. If you divide it by 2, it will be 22.5 inches. The length I'm working with is 20 inches. So I will hem with 2 inches at the down part, and I'll use 1/2 inch to join the upper part with the lower part. So I divided that into 2, and I have 2 yards into 2. So you can just join it together to get 4 yards, but I don't want to join it together to get 4 yards. I will take one of them and divide into 2 as well, and join each one to the side of one whole long one, so that my center joining will be by the side instead of being at the center. So, but if you don't mind, you can just join it, the 2 of them together. But at the end, your joining will be at this center front, which I don't like. So I further divided one and attached both of them by the side. And for the strap, I have a width of 3 inches here by 7 inches. Remember, we went off by 3 inches plus my joining allowance of 1 inch. That is 7 inches. I will just sew it and turn it inside out. And when I bring my front, I'll measure out 1/2 inch from the armhole on both sides. This will be my turning allowance for the armhole. You don't want to take it to that edge so that you will not have difficulties turning it. And I'll pin down and stitch it. I'll flip over and take my lining and sew on it. And I'll sew from one armhole through to the neckline and to the other armhole. I'll notch the armhole and turn it inside out. Make sure you give them a good press. And to the back parts, the same thing, minus half an inch from the armhole. You attach your strap from there. Your strap is 1 inch. My strap is 1 inch. You can make 1.5 inches if you want a wider one. Then you take the back lining piece, close it up like you see me doing, and you sew from your zipper allowance. I will leave my zipper allowance open. I will sew from there through to the armhole and notch the armhole and turn it inside out as well. And this is what I have after doing all that. So it's time to close the side seam. I added a belt to the front part. I have a video of that on the channel. You can check it out. So I'll just close up lining to lining and fabric to fabric, making sure that that seam is matching together. The seam on the armhole, on the lining, and on the fabric, they are matching together. And on the other side, I'll do the same thing, and I'll close with 1 inch joining allowance, because that was what I left while I was drafting. So, and after that, my inside will be neatly finished, likewise my outside parts. And I can go ahead and work on the skirt and attach it. So this is what it looks like. After gathering the skirt, which I've not gathered, I'll just attach it to the front part. That's the main fabric. I'll cut out my lining as well and attach it to that. So for the yoke, I've already used it to cut out my pattern, adding my joining allowance at the armhole and on the down part. I did not add allowance on the neckline. So the allowances were only on the armhole and on the down part. Armhole and on the down parts, no allowances on the neckline. You can do that if you normally add allowances on your neckline, but I do not. So I have 2 for the front part and 4 for the back part. So it's time to join this fabric, and I'll pick one piece for the front and for the back, and I'll join them. One will serve as my lining, while the second will serve as my outer fabric. So I'll just join with half an inch at the shoulder, and I'll come back to show you. So after joining them, I iron the seam open on both of them, and I will attach my rope. I have a rope that I've just sewn. I've just sewn it. I've not turned it inside out. So I'll turn it inside out and attach it at the shoulder points and at the down point, 2 on each side. So make sure you are leaving half an inch on that downside so that you'll be able to turn the downside properly. So after doing this, I'll cover with my lining and sew on the neckline. I will notch it, sew on the down part on the front and notch it, and on the down part for the back, and I will notch it. I will turn it from the armhole, but before turning it from the armhole, I want to close the side seam neatly. If you don't mind, you can just close it normally the way you normally close it and serge with an overlocker, but I want to do mine neatly. So for the side seam, for the front and the back, I'll just open it up like this and match the right side together, the lining to lining, fabric to fabric, and I'll close with 1 inch. On the other side as well, I'll open it up, make sure those seam lines are matching together so that it aligns. I'll sew with half an inch, 1 inch, sorry, and I'll turn it from one end of the armhole. For my sleeve, I have a fabric folded into 4 here for my 2 sleeve, and I'll be marking on this black pattern because I'm using white. The width is 12 inches while the length is 8.5 inches. So they have it on fold. So on the side that is not on fold, I'll just come down by either 3 or 4 inches. I later use 4 inches, and I'll casually trace this out and I'll cut it from there. I have a detailed tutorial how to make a puff sleeve. I'm just making a simple puff sleeve. For the down part, I just came in by 1 inch from the side that is open, and I slanted it just to give it that sleeve kind of shape. I'll cut it like so, and I'll open it up. So check the comment section. I'll pin how to make different types of sleeve, puff sleeves. If this one is not okay by you, or you want it more exaggerated, I have a very detailed videos on how to do that. So this line I'm marking now is my elastic casing. I'll use it. I just marked 1 inch. You can mark 1.5, but I'll just mark 1 inch and fold it ½ inch first, then ½ inch again, because I'm using ½ inch elastic band. If you're using 1 inch, you need to fold higher so that it will accommodate the elastic. So mine is just ½ inch. I'll fold ½ inch in and ½ inch, then I'll pass an elastic through the opening. And my elastic is ½ inch width, like I said, but the length, I'll be using the chest round arm. This is 7 inches. The chest round arm minus 1.5 inches. That is what I just cut out. And when I pass the elastic, I will gather the upper part to fit in the armhole. Make sure you are concentrating your pleats at the middle so that it will stand very well. Don't scatter your pleats. So after doing all what I just said, I've ironed my yoke, my jacket kind of, if I may say. This is how it looks like. And if I strap it, this is how the back will look like. The back is a keyhole. It's open, it's not with zipper. And this is my sleeve. It's just a simple sleeve. I did not want it that exaggerated. And I would attach it to the jacket. Here is my skirt part, which I have attached my already gathered skirt part to, and my lining, and I went ahead to attach my zipper to. So this is what the inside looked like, neatly attached zipper and lining. So my lining is shorter by 3 inches from the skirt part, and my dress is ready. My sleeve has been attached to the jacket, and this is what it looks like. The only rough edges I have is on the sleeve, which I can just overlock or use a bias tape to tape the end. And if I bring my dress and place my yoke over, this is what it will look like. Thank you for watching up to this point, and remember to give this video a thumbs up. Always like, subscribe, and share my video if you've not. Thank you, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.